Ones out there. I have a quiz question for you today. Why, if you wake up at 200 and go for a walk, does your blood sugar level likely not come down? But if you're 200 after lunch and you go for a walk, it does come down. Do you know the answer? Well, I'll explain that in today's video. For those of you that are just finding me, my name is Dr. Jody Stanislaw. I have had type 1 for 40 years now. I'm a huge fan of my decks. These tools I think are even more important than pumps. So there's also the Libre, of course. Those are the two main ones on the market. And I'm a little old school. I actually worked for a pump company for many years before med school, but and wore a pump, of course. But I'm back to good old injections because I just prefer not to have something attached to me, and I still get really good blood sugar levels. And I've dedicated my career to helping type 1s because I think that so many of us struggle and are given maybe 50% of what we need to know when we're expected 100% results. I just had a patient yesterday tell me about how guilty she feels and sad she feels every time she goes to endo because she feels like they just kind of look at her and think, well, you're not trying hard enough. And we all know that's not true, right? With type 1, we try hard every day. And sometimes no matter how hard we try, it just doesn't give us good results. Like I said, I've had type 1 for 40 years, so I understand. I've certainly had those feelings myself. And what I've come to realize is that all of us do work hard. I mean, obviously, harder on some days than others. We're no superheroes here. But we're not given the full education that we need to learn how to really thrive. And that is why I've been coming on Facebook Lives every day now for weeks, ever since this COVID happened, because I want to really teach you guys and inspire you with how to keep your blood sugar levels in a healthy range, because that's key for keeping your immune system strong. So there are, the ADA recommends an A1C below 7%. The American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists recommend below 6.5. The reality is most patients are way above 7 or even above 8. So why is that? Well, like I said, you probably don't have the support, the education, and the motivation, and the understanding. We need all of those things to really thrive with type 1. And I'm glad you found me. I have a whole host of videos and trainings and support you can find on my website. But let me answer the question that I posed today. Why, if you wake up at 200 and go for a walk, your sugar level potentially won't come down, but if you are 200 after your lunch and you go for a walk, it will come down? This is a really important question to understand. And the reason is because I'm assuming right when you wake up in the morning, you only have your basal or long-acting insulin on board, that you actually haven't taken a rapid bolus or a rapid shot yet. So you have less insulin on board right when you first wake up than, let's say, an hour or two after lunch, assuming you already bolused at least a few units at lunchtime. It's this insulin on board that our exercise activates to be stronger at keeping our blood sugar level low, right? If we never injected insulin, it would be impossible for us to go low. So this is the key tip I want you to get today. Insulin on board is what the exercise works on to make us go low, right? Everybody else that's exercising that doesn't inject insulin, they don't have to worry about lows. Why do we have to worry about lows? Because of the imprecision of this injected insulin. So for example, when I go for, a multi-hour hike, I used to live in the mountains of Idaho, and I would go on 2, 3, 4-hour hikes. I would make sure I'd have something with protein for breakfast, like eggs or turkey or chicken or something like that, vegetables. And I would then allow myself to take a small bolus for my breakfast, which then would allow me to hike for hours and not worry about going low. Now, alternatively, if I had had a big bowl of oatmeal or bagels or, carbs, then I gave myself a big shot of insulin. And now I'm going to go be active, which is just a recipe for massive lows. I see this all the time when people just don't understand why they're having massive lows when they exercise. And they said, well, I ate a bunch of carbs before my workout, so then I gave myself a bunch of insulin, but then I had a massive low. And that's just a recipe for a disaster. So This is one of my favorite things to teach you and teach my patients, and that I teach in my course. I have a course called Mastering Your Blood Sugar with Exercise, because it's actually a lot more complicated than just this part. But this is the creme de la creme information that can change your life, right? The more insulin you have on board, mostly rapid, but even if your basal rate is set too high, the more insulin you have in your body, when you go be active, the more likely you go low. So what's the magic formula for not going low or even having to eat? Because I used to have to stuff my face before I ate my whole life. Before soccer practice and before I'd go out and play, right? You'd have to eat and eat. Well, I don't have to eat at all anymore, which is just such a blessing. And that's because I've learned how to be so efficient with dosing my insulin properly. Not only do I reduce the amount of rapid that I have in my body before I work out, i.e. by not eating a lot of carbs before I work out, but the second thing that's essential is getting your background insulin, your long-acting, your basal rate set correctly. Because if that's too high, then that alone can make you go low as well. You know, I had a patient a while ago who said he had to eat every 2 hours, every day, and he'd been doing this for 10 years. And I said, why are you eating every 2 hours? And he goes, well, I have diabetes, and they said I have to eat every 2 hours so I avoid lows. And thank goodness he found me, because I said, no, your background insulin is too much. Your background insulin is too much. So we tweaked his background insulin, and he couldn't believe it. He had a whole day where he could go for 4, 5, 6 hours and not eat. So it's that simple. Well, it's not that simple, but that's an important starting point. People watching today, great. We've got, where did that comment go? Someone said they go high, right? They go high, yes. So frustrated with exercise and going hyper. Yes, Maureen, that can happen too. I'm not going to go into that in the video today, but I definitely do in my course, Mastering Your Blood Sugar with Exercise. There is definitely a way to avoid the hypers with exercise as well, but that's definitely a thing. Okay, Phyllis, Stephanie loves this tip. Great. Shannon, Maureen, Clifford, Jen. Hi, Jen. Nadivo in South Africa. Stephanie and Shaknika. So thanks, you guys, for your comments. And I'm really passionate about getting this information out to many type 1s as possible. I'm considering starting a membership program, very affordable way to access all my content. I also am trying to get all my videos into hospitals, because wouldn't that be great if my videos were just free resource for anybody with type 1? And that's one of my dreams. And I'm passionate about getting this out. Yesterday, actually, somebody criticized me that I was too pushy about marketing my stuff in the videos. And I thought, okay, well, you know, I can tone it down a little bit, but it's just, I'm so passionate about helping type 1s learn what they need to know to have healthy A1Cs. There's just so much lax in our care. They see a 7% or 8% A1C, and sometimes they just think, oh, that's good enough. At least you're not a 10. And I've been going to doctors myself for 40 years, and I've been volunteering at diabetes camps, and now I have patients all around the world. I've been doing my virtual practice for over 8 years now, 10 years, I don't know. And so I hear this all the time, that we've just come to accept that really good control is too hard to get. But I'm here to say it's not. It's not. My A1Cs are great. I sleep with perfect blood sugar levels. I'm 110 right now. I dosed a little bit late for my breakfast, so I went up here a little bit today. But now I'm back down to 110 because I immediately took action. That's another big step that I help my patients with, is like, we can't just sit around at 200 and expect our A1C to be good. So I have tips for how to get your highs to come down faster. And first of all, avoid your highs, right? That is covered in my nutrition and dosing course, as well as how to get off the blood sugar roller coaster. So if you want to check out my courses, all you have to do to find me online is just Google the words Dr. Jody and diabetes, and my website comes up. I always say that first since it's so easy to remember. But my actual URL is drjodynd.com. That's drjodynd.com. So you can click on T1D classes. You'll see all my classes there. I do private virtual programs with patients. It's a 3-month program where we have calls every week or every other week, and you just get everything you need. Those are filling up pretty fast. I don't know how I'm going to handle everybody, but I'm very excited because so many So many people have been finding me. Let's see. Okay, someone said I'm not going to take my insulin at all. No, don't do that. We always need insulin in our bodies at all times, or else we risk going into diabetic ketoacidosis. So I should say, as a disclaimer, please do not make any changes without talking to your doctor first. This is not medical advice. This is just sharing information about what it takes to get good diabetes care. So we always have to have insulin in our body at all times, or DKA can happen, which can be a lethal condition. So please always take your insulin, but you need to work with a provider, or you can sign up for my class. You can work with me, but definitely talk to your doctor before you start adjusting your insulin all over the place. Okay, it's a very important thing to have supervision with, and it's, of course, can give you a wonderful life or a horrible life, depending on if you do it right or do it wrong. So I am here to inspire type 1s that we can live a long and healthy life. I encourage you to make sure you get the support you need, and I'm here to serve as an additional information to your present care team. And that's what you can learn in my courses, or working with me, or watching these videos. I've been doing these for at least 2 months now, I think. So if you want to see more, just go to my Facebook page and then scroll down and you'll see lots and lots of videos. So that's my tip for today, everybody. Now you know why, if sometimes you're high and you exercise, you go low, and sometimes you're high and you exercise and you don't go low. Depends on how much insulin you have on board. Thanks for watching. Check out my stuff, drjodynd.com. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. Bye for now.